Michael Dowling from McGrath Estate Agents in Ryde. Welcome to the show, mate. Great to have you on.
Thanks, Trent. Great to be here, mate. And great to speak to you.
Awesome. So I guess post-COVID restrictions, open homes are back, auctions are back. How have you kind of seen the Ryde market kind of playing out over the last kind of 2 to 3 weeks? Give us a bit of an update.
Yeah, so mate, it's been very interesting. We've obviously during the lockdown there was a lot of sort of standoffish buyers that were out and about. A lot of uncertainty out in the climate, not just from buyers but also from sellers. Over the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks, we've noticed a lot of changes in regards to buyers coming forward and understanding that sort of now is a great time to buy because they've seen 20 to 30 groups at a lot of open homes as soon as the open homes started to come back. So that was really good. We're definitely seeing a lot more positivity out there. And I think a lot of buyers are a little bit uncertain still because there's still not a high amount of stock levels. So there's still a lot of uncertainty around, is there going to be more supply hit the market or what's going to happen? So it's sort of allowing a lot of competition out there.
Gotcha. And I guess just on the supply side, are you seeing more off-market properties kind of come to the market now? Like, are vendors wanting to, I guess, kind of bring the property on off-market rather than going for the full campaign? I guess, how are you guys kind of seeing that one play out?
Yeah, we are. So as part of the process, what we're actually recommending to a lot of owners is to sort of have that one to 2 weeks off market, get our database through. At McGrath, we've got such a big database of buyers that have missed out on previous properties that it just makes a lot of sense just to get that verbal feedback while we're sort of preparing the property and getting it going. So a lot of the times we still are showing those buyers through off market. We're definitely noticing a few more sales happening as a result of buyers being a bit uncertain and urgent, because the reality is that they don't know what else is coming on the market. So, I mean, we've had a few good off-market sales. I had 2 last week to take note of. They were both really successful. And both owners were very pleased because, again, on the owner's side, there's still a lot of uncertainty with the owners about how much supply levels are hitting the market. So to sell at this current time and then be a buyer over the next 3 months is quite good for those owners.
Yeah, gotcha. And did you just want to run through the off-market sale that you had just recently? You want to talk us through that one?
Yeah, so 17 Hay Street was one that we had last week. That was really good. So that was due to go on the market last Tuesday. We sold it Monday evening. Basically, the week before on the Thursday, the owner was sort of getting the carport painted and the whole side of the house painted. Basically, we had 13 inspections Thursday evening at 6:30 at what we call our database preview. We ended up having 6 of those buyers come back and have a second look at the property on the Saturday afternoon. So it was good to get 6 second inspections before it even sort of came on the market. So that was really good, and obviously great to show the owner that we're dealing with serious buyers. But then one buyer stood out. We had a number of offers sort of around the early 1.5s for that one. And then one buyer made a really good offer, and we ended up sort of getting them up to 1.67, so 1,670,000, and they signed the contract with a 66W 10% deposit Monday night. And I mean, part of the process was basically showing them our diary, the fact that we were launching the property on the Tuesday on the open market. And some questions came out in regards to, guys, either you're sort of competing with the whole market on realestate.com or Domain, or you're competing with the 13 that you saw down there at the property. Which one would you prefer? And they put their best foot forward and made a good offer.
And I guess just touching on like buy numbers, you mentioned like 20 or 30, I guess, groups through some of your opens. Is that about average for you guys, or is that kind of above average because there's just more buyers in the market, or how does that kind of sit as an average?
Yeah, so at the moment it's quite a normal because there is limited stock. So we are noticing that there is a bit of a segregation in buyers though. So we've got probably out of those 25 that'll come through, 50% of them are what we call wait and watch buyers. They're just sort of a bit uncertain about what's happening out there in the market. So they're not ready to buy right now. But then there's 50% of them that are probably a lot more serious and ready to buy if the right one does come around. So I think the numbers are high because of the stock levels, but also there's a lot of confidence out there with interest rates being quite low, and obviously people being aware that we're still not at the same price as we were 3 years ago at 2017. So people do understand that it's a good time to buy. I think the big thing that we look at from a weekly point of view, first weeks at the moment for a property launching, we would hope that we get somewhere between 20 to 30 groups through the first open home. And then second open home, it does drop back to around usually around the 15 mark, maybe 10. worst case scenario. And then the week before the auction, generally that's where you see the lowest numbers, somewhere around the sort of 5 or 6 will come through in that final week.
Gotcha. And I guess just kind of touching on auctions there, how's your auction market been playing out? Is that a big thing for you guys? Like, do you guys do a lot of auctions, and have you, I guess, kind of seen the auction market, I guess, delivering more results now than it was kind of 2 to 3 months ago?
Yeah, so we're very big on the auctions. So probably about 80-90% of the stock that we take on is auction related. We definitely believe in a transparent deadline, and obviously that's playing out quite well now because of the low stock levels and uncertainty. But what we're noticing is that if the property does tick all the boxes, then generally that basically is going to be a really good auction. We had a really good auction a couple of weeks ago at 38 Green Avenue in Ryde. That was a week and a half ago. And yeah, that was an amazing auction. We had 21 registered bidders at that auction. Basically, bidding started off at 1.45. Ended up, someone else put a bid in at 1.63, which was a really, really good, strong, immediate bid from that bidder. And it sort of blew a lot of the competition away. But then really came down to 3 or 4 bidders that just kept going. And it ended up selling for $1,945,000, which was $345,000 over reserve. So wow. You do see some of those results in this market where the supply is that low, and buyers are really uncertain about, okay, is now the last chance that I've got to buy a property like this, or is there going to be another one that's going to come up in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time? And if there's that uncertainty, then they will put their best foot forward at an auction if they're social proof. Definitely.
Gotcha. And are you saying, I guess, are you seeing that buyers might now, I guess, be waiting until springtime hits, and maybe there might be some more properties on offer now, or you're just seeing buyers, they're just keen, they're motivated, and they're ready to kind of, I guess, take what's on offer now rather than, waiting for another 3 or 4 months for springtime?
Yeah, well, we're definitely noticing some buyers waiting. Like I said, probably 50% of buyers are really unsure, and they're more your wait and watch type of buyers at the moment. There is generally buyers out there at the moment that are serious about buying now, and if they do come across the right property, they will jump on and buy. They're more the buyers that are looking purely upon lifestyle, and they're going to be there for 5 to 10 years, so they're not worried about paying that extra $50,000 or getting it $50,000 cheaper. But yeah, I think we are starting to notice a few more buyers now that spring's around the corner, and obviously with a lot of the news reports that are out there about supply increasing and the job seeker concerns, and obviously government stimulus is stopping, as well as a lot of people out there doing it tough with losing jobs and so on. There is genuine uncertainty out there, I suppose, with buyers. They're not sure how big the supply level will be, or will it just be a normal spring where we get a few more properties on the market, or will there be a considerable amount due to the economic issues?
Yeah, gotcha. And just touching on any notable sales you wanted to mention over the last kind of couple of weeks?
Well, that one in Green Avenue obviously stood out. That was a pretty phenomenal sale. That's one that the team's pretty proud of. That owner was a really interesting owner because 5 weeks ago before the auction, they were considering renting the property out. And we sort of sat down with them and went through the pros and cons of renting and why they would keep the property as an investment property. And everything they were detailing didn't really sort of tick the boxes of the ideal investor. So they were more sort of keeping the property out of a sort of negative mindset, I suppose, rather than a positive mindset. So that was more about the COVID situation, the uncertainty about the market, the price levels that they thought they were going to get. Once we sort of went through with them the reasons why people keep a property as an investor, things like negative gearing or tax benefits or positive geared property to sort of gain income from, it didn't really tick any of those boxes. And the reality is that it sort of unlocked a good opportunity for them. And then with them selling $345,000 over reserve, they've got a really big kitty now to move up to Queensland and spend some good money up there. Another one was 5 Lorna Avenue in North Ryde. Now that was last weekend. That was a really good auction. That property sold $175,000 over reserve, so it was a really good result. We had 10 registrations at the auction. The highest offer prior to auction was $1,550,000. And yeah, it was just good to see the confidence. That property is in a really good location, and that's a really good example of not much stock around that market because it's close to Macquarie Park, close to North Ryde Station. There's not a lot in that corridor of North Ryde at the moment. That's sort of that what we call blue chip real estate in North Ryde. So buyers were at that auction really unsure about what else is going to come available. So they did put their best foot forward at that auction. And yeah, 1,725,000 was the final result there. So it was really good.
Gotcha. Michael Dowling, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for chatting, mate. Speak to you soon.
No, pleasure. Thanks, Trent. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out more, visit sohoapp.com, or if you're looking at adding your properties into Soho and connecting your CRM, check out the links in the description below.